The Mysterious Bookstore. Chapter 1. The Hidden Shop o' Liver. A curious 12-year-old boy with a love for books wandered down an unfamiliar alley in his town. A flickering sign reading "Whispering Pages" caught his attention. The bookstore, hidden between towering buildings, seemed old yet enchanting. Pushing open the heavy wooden door, he stepped inside, unaware that this visit would change his life forever. The wooden floor creaked beneath his feet as he stepped further inside. The shop smelled of aged parchment, ink, and a faint trace of something sweet, like cinnamon. Oliver's eyes widened as he took in the shelves that stretched from floor to ceiling, packed with books of all sizes and colors. Some books shimmered in the dim light, their spines decorated with intricate gold lettering. A low voice interrupted his marveling. "Welcome, young reader," said an elderly man with twinkling eyes and a warm smile. "I'm Mr. Alistair, the keeper of this shop." Oliver hesitated before nodding. "This place, it's amazing. I've never seen so many books in one place." Mr. Alistair chuckled. "This is no ordinary bookstore. It holds stories beyond imagination." His voice had a knowing edge to it, as if he understood more than he let on. Oliver ran his fingers along a shelf, pausing as he noticed a book that seemed to hum under his touch. The cover was dark green, embroidered with silver vines. His fingers tingled as he pulled it free. "Careful with that one," Mr. Alistair warned. "Some books in here have a life of their own." Before Oliver could ask what he meant, the book fluttered, open in his hands, glowing softly. The light wrapped around him, pulling him into the pages. The bookstore disappeared, replaced by a vast medieval courtyard filled with knights in shining armor. Chapter 2. The Keeper of Secrets. Oliver gasped as he landed on a cobblestone path, his surroundings unlike anything he had ever seen. A grand castle loomed ahead, its turrets reaching into a golden twilight sky. Knights in gleaming armor bustled about, their voices ringing with urgency. He stumbled forward, his head spinning with disbelief. "You there!" A stern voice called. Oliver turned to see a knight approaching. The man was tall and broad, his armor etched with intricate designs. "State your name and purpose." I'm Oliver," he stammered, still trying to process his sudden arrival. "I don't know how I got here." The knight's suspicious gaze softened slightly. "Lost traveler, are you?" He sighed. "Come, we'll take you to the castle. The royal scholar will know what to do with you." As they walked, Oliver tried to take everything in. The streets were lined with market stalls selling exotic goods, bolts of shimmering fabric, golden fruits, and potions bubbling in glass bottles. Strange creatures roamed freely. Tiny winged horses fluttered near flower beds, and cats with two tails curled up on warm stone walls. The castle doors swung open, revealing a grand hall lined with tapestries depicting ancient battles. At the center of the room sat an elderly man in deep blue robes, poring over a massive tome. He looked up, eyes twinkling with curiosity. "Ah, another visitor from the world beyond." "You know where I came from?" Oliver asked in astonishment. The scholar nodded. This is no ordinary book you've fallen into, young one. The whispering pages only call those who are meant to uncover their secrets. Mr. Allister's words echoed in Oliver's mind. But how do I get back? First, you must learn why the book has chosen you. The scholar said, every story holds a lesson. Your adventure has only just begun. Oliver swallowed hard. He had stepped into something far greater than he had imagined. And now, he had no choice but to see it through. Chapter 3. The Living Stories. Oliver spent the next few days exploring the castle and learning from the scholar, whose name was Master Edric. He was given a small chamber to stay in, lined with books and artifacts from forgotten lands. Each morning, Master Edric would summon him to the library, where towering bookshelves stretched into the high ceiling, their ladders reaching to unfathomable heights. You are part of something rare, Oliver, Master Edric explained one evening, unrolling a delicate scroll. The books of this world are unlike any others. They hold not just stories, but realities within them. Oliver furrowed his brows. You mean each book is a real world? Precisely, Master Edric said. And you were chosen by the whispering pages to enter one. Oliver's mind reeled. But why me? Master Edric smiled knowingly. That, young traveler, is a question only you can answer. Each story teaches something, but only if you are willing to learn. That night, Oliver lay awake in his chamber, staring at the wooden beams above. What was his lesson? Why had the book chosen him? The more he thought, the more restless he became. The next morning, Master Edric brought him to a section of the library filled with books encased in glass. These are the living stories, he explained. They are books that demand their readers to live within them before they can be completed. Some are adventures, others are mysteries. A few are warnings. Oliver stepped closer, his fingers tracing, the glass. And I was trapped in one? Master Edric nodded. You were never trapped. You were learning. And soon, you may have to enter another. A chill ran through Oliver. He wasn't sure he was ready. But deep inside, a thrill of excitement bubbled. If every book was a new world, what kind of adventure awaited him next? Chapter 4. The Trial of the Quill Master. Edric led Oliver to a small chamber lined with glowing scrolls. At the center stood a wooden table with an enchanted quill and parchment. Write your story, and the next door will open, Master Edric instructed. Oliver hesitated, but as he touched the quill, it moved on its own, revealing his fears on the page, his self-doubt, his failures, and his moments of hesitation. Each word stung like a memory resurfacing. He clenched his fists, determined to push forward. Through this trial, Oliver learned that stories require honesty, and so does growth. With newfound confidence, he wrote about his courage. The parchment glowed, and a hidden door creaked open, revealing the path ahead. Chapter 5. The Forgotten Library. Oliver wandered into a hidden chamber filled with dusty, forgotten books. A faint whisper called to him. Following it, he found an elderly librarian, long forgotten by time. These books hold lost stories, The librarian murmured, "They fade when people forget their value." The librarian revealed a book detailing the origins of the Whispering Pages. It was not just a book, but a bridge, one that connected those who needed to learn to the lessons they sought. Oliver realized his adventure was part of something much bigger. Chapter 6. The Shadow in the Pages. Oliver delved deeper. A shadowy figure emerged from an unfinished book. It was a manifestation of forgotten stories, of fear left unwritten. Incomplete tales create darkness. Master Edric warned. You must finish them to restore balance. Oliver faced the darkness, rewriting forgotten stories with courage and hope. The more he wrote, the weaker the shadow became until it finally disappeared back into the pages. Chapter 7. The Final Key. The last challenge required Oliver to write his own story. The Whispering Pages would only close when he embraced his role as a storyteller. He wrote about his journey, his fears, and his growth. As he penned the final words, the book shimmered. Light surrounded him, and the world faded. Oliver found himself back in the bookstore, the book now sealed shut, its purpose fulfilled. Chapter 8. The final trial. Oliver and Ilara stood before Master Edric, who held a final book in his hands. This, he said, is the book of truth. Only those who understand the power of stories may turn its pages. Oliver hesitated, but with a nod from Ilara, he opened the book. A rush of wind swept through the library, and suddenly, they were transported into a darkened void, where voices echoed like whispers from forgotten tales. A voice called out, "What is the purpose of a story?" Oliver thought about all he had experienced. Stories teach, guide, and inspire. They help us see beyond ourselves. The void shimmered, and another question followed. Why must stories be remembered? Ilara stepped forward. Because without them, knowledge is lost. Without stories, we forget who we are. A warm light surrounded them. The book in Oliver's hands glowed, its pages flipping rapidly. Then, in a blink, they were back in the castle library. Master Edric smiled. You have passed the final trial. You understand that stories are not just words on a page. They are bridges between past, present, and future. Chapter 9. The Return. Home. A familiar glow surrounded Oliver as the magic of the book activated once more. He felt himself being pulled back, the castle fading into the golden light. Ilara gave him a reassuring nod. Until we meet again. With one last breath, Oliver opened his eyes and found himself back in the Whispering Pages bookstore. Mr. Alastair stood before him smiling. Ah, you've returned. Oliver looked down and saw the green book in his hands, its silver vines gleaming softly. It was real, he whispered. All of it. Mr. Alastair nodded. Indeed, it was. But tell me, what did you learn? Oliver took a deep breath. That stories aren't just for reading. They shape who we are. They remind us to dream, to learn, and to remember the past. Mr. Alastair's eyes twinkled. Then, you are ready for your next adventure. He gestured to the countless bookshelves around them. Every book holds a new journey. Where will you go next? Oliver grinned, his heart racing with excitement. Anywhere. Chapter 10. The Power of Stories. A message to readers. Oliver's journey is more than just an adventure. It is a reminder of the power of stories in our lives. Each book we read teaches us something new, whether it be courage, wisdom, or the value of curiosity. To all the viewers watching, remember this: stories connect us across time and space. They hold lessons from the past, dreams for the future, and truths that shape who we become. Never stop reading, never stop learning, and most importantly, never stop imagining. Just like Oliver, your next great adventure could be waiting inside a book. All you have to do is turn the page.